Hey YouTube, Shred My 1106 coming right back at you. This is another recap of Mary Mary Reality TV Show Season 1, Episode 6. Okay, so Episode 6 starts off the sisters coming back from their retreat. They were greeted by their family, and the first person to be greeted was Tina. So when she got off the bus, she immediately see her mom, and she hugs her mom and everything, and she tells her mother, I'm pregnant. And her mother just cracked up laughing because she had like promised that she was not having any more kids. Although her mother was very happy to hear, but you know, she was like, it's so funny because she said she wasn't going to never have any more kids. And then she tells Warren, who is Erica's husband, who was her brother-in-law, their producer, that she's pregnant. And like he said, as a brother-in-law I'm happy, but as their producer, not so much. So Tina get home and she finds her husband, you know, in the house practicing on his drums, because he's the drummer for the Tonight Show. His name is Teddy. And she tells him, like, Teddy, you know, I'm definitely pregnant. You know, I took the test and I was positive. She had already told him she thought she was pregnant, but she's there to tell him that she really is. So they both were looking like, oh my God, you know, we said we didn't want to have any more kids. But at this moment, she pretty much just feels sad about the fact that she did get pregnant. And her husband, you know, he had this little sadness about him too, but then it quickly left, and he was just like, well, you know what, it is what it is. You know, God gave us this gift, this child, and we'll stick through it. So he remained encouraging and encouraged that they accept the fact that they're about to have another baby. But Tina, she just went on this real big vent. It wasn't like a mean or sassy vent. It was one of those emotional vents about how she want to balance all this. But she did it before, you know, I'm sure she'll do it again with the fourth child. Well, this will be the fifth child. She has 3 kids with her husband, and then her husband has a daughter from previous relationship. So in the meanwhile, Erica, she still got this little about the career and what we're going to do, how we're going to work this out. So she calls Tina and said, come over to my house, we need to talk about what we need to do. So they get over there and they're talking, and Erica feel like Tina is not being compassionate about the situation. She pretty much like, you know, well, we just got to do it. We just got to work around it. You know, that's it. And I kind of felt Tina, because she already feels sad and down. And Erica's talking about, you know, you don't act like this is not going to interrupt our schedule for 2012. We're supposed to do this and we're supposed to do that and da 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 da. So Tina just broke on her like, look, don't act like when we're supposed to do that 10-city tour, which they obligated themselves just a couple of months before they decided they couldn't do it. It cost them $250,000 because they had to cancel it suddenly like that. They still had to pay all those deposits and things. So Tina, I'm sure Tina didn't really want to bring it up like that because she'd already did that in a previous episode. But I guess she like, you keep standing on my back. Let me tell you what's really good. She don't need her sister to rag on her like that. She need her sister just to support her. Now it goes to Goo's boyfriend. He arrives in LA from Atlanta, and they're going to meet at a restaurant. The family's going to meet him at this restaurant. So it's Erica and Tina and their husbands, and then Goo is coming in with her boyfriend. So as soon as they get in, they just start in with the questions. Oh, I thought this was funny when Tina's husband said, we're going to a restaurant to meet Goo Boo. So anyway, they get to the restaurant and they just interrogate this man on all type of things, on all type of levels. Okay, they were asking about his education, you know, his work ethic and his upbringing and all of that, and he answered them smoothly and what appeared to be honestly. But Tina got too far into it, gonna ask him, okay, they asked did he have any kids. Of course he didn't have any kids. But Tina gonna say, were you a hoe? Now see, you would have, I would have had to make you pump your brakes on that one. You not gonna ask me was I a hoe, but he answered and he said, yeah, when I was in college. And you know what? They looked at him like, oh, but then I guess they had to respect that. You asked a question, you know, you just might get an answer, the one you wasn't really trying to hear. So the interrogation go on and on until it gets to the point where they ask, well, how do you and Goo supposed to continue this long distance relationship, something like that. And he was like, well, I think eventually, you know, once we get to a certain point in our relationship, I figure I can move her out to Atlanta with me if she wants to. And they was like, oh no, Goo is not leaving LA. She's not going to Atlanta. You know, she is not leave. She is our stylist and our sister, and we don't know you. We don't know that. Okay, they went on and on like that. And Goo was looking like, I will go if I want to. I'm like, there you go, go, Goo. And although Goo had already anticipated this type of behavior, but I think she think they took it a little bit too far. But she was thinking like, well, if he can live through this, he most definitely, you know, is the man for me. You know, although she already felt it already, but she didn't mind that this was a test for him, but she didn't like it that they went that far. But anyway, he proved to them that he was a good person, a good man, honest, and they approved of him. So later, Mitch, their manager of 1 year, called them to tell them that the Grammys request their performance. Now that is a great honor, and they were so excited because, you know, that doesn't come, you know, too often. And them as this, you know, although they've been around, they've, you know, had their foot in the door for a long time, but this was their first requested performance appearance. But the appearance is the same day as Erica's due date. If it's not one thing, it's another. Erica's saying, you know what, we'll work it out. I'm going to do it even if I have to naturally induce my labor. Hopefully I can induce my labor. I can have the baby 2 weeks before she can come 2 weeks early, and then we can go ahead and perform. Now I'm looking like, come on now, who is that career selfish mind that they would consider to do something like that? Risk their health. You're sitting here, you were having those pregnant complications where you needed to keep your baby in because you were under so much stress. Your cervix was opening. Now you're trying to figure out how can I have my baby early anyway? No, it doesn't make any sense, Erica. I know it's a big honor. I know it'll be a big thing and a big milestone in your career. But Erica, sit down, okay? You know, I don't think you should commit to it because you are pregnant, and you committing to things during your pregnancy has already cost y'all $250,000 when y'all had to cancel that tour. So sit down. Stop committing yourself to these commitments you are unable to secure. Although she told Mitch, hey, it's all good, we're gonna work this out, but she hadn't spoke to her husband, you know, which it's not a go until he say. So it comes time for Tina to tell Mitch that she's pregnant. Now, in a couple episodes ago, when Tina took a test with Erica's doctor when they had to rush her to the hospital, she asked the doctor to give her a pregnancy test and it was negative. But when Mitch came up to the hospital to see about Erica, they decided to play a joke on him and just say that Tina was pregnant. But and the joke is actually on Tina because she actually, you know, as we know now, she actually was pregnant. So she tell him she's pregnant. She's feeling and talking really sad. She's like, I'm really sad about it, but you know, it was unplanned, you know, but I'll promise I'll work hard for the first 4 months. You know, we can get some projects off so she can have time to, you know, relax a little bit during her pregnancy. But like Mitch said, that's not going to work because Erica is having her baby and she's not going to have those 4 months to work hard because she's going to have to be off for a few months. I don't know. Tina was just trying to make the best out of it and trying to put in that strong work ethic mind that Erica have, but you know, it just was conflicting with the situation at hand. Erica and Warren feels like he wanted to do something to help his wife relax. He's always been a romantic by heart, and he's been that way since he met her. I guess that's how he got her. So he decides, you know, tell her, I'm going to do something special for you, and we're going to do it this weekend, this day, blah, blah, blah. She said, okay. He goes shopping by this beautiful ring. It was beautiful. And he makes this plan for them to have a candlelight dinner on a yacht. So the day come, they go on the yacht, and was that the best idea? Probably not, because if the boat is rocking, you know, you got motion sickness, which turns into stress as far as a pregnant woman is concerned. And that's what she has to try to avoid. But they weren't thinking about that. So as they were outside on the yacht looking at the scenery, they decided to go in and eat. And as they're walking to go into the inside, the boat rocks a little, and she's like, whoa, 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 you know. That's when she decided that probably wasn't the best idea to go on the yacht, you know. So they get there, they sit down at their dinner table, and the boat gets to rocking, and she falls back. I mean, the fall looked massive. It did. It looked like she could have, you know, done some damage. But she assured, you know, in her confessional that that fall wasn't as bad as it looked, and that she was okay. She was able to continue on with her dinner. She wasn't in any pain. She didn't feel any funny, you know, things going around. She was okay. And Warren, her husband, started laughing at her. And she was like, you laughing at me? He was like, well, not at you, but the look on your face when you fell, you was like, woo, 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 woo. And when they redid the playback, it was funny. Because it was, when it was happening, you was like, oh, that's all you could do. He should need to be put in the doghouse for that, because I don't think he, you know, he had any rights to even laugh at that moment. He should have waited 2 weeks. So anyway, he gives her the beautiful ring. She was so excited. She was so appreciative that she sang him a little song, and she sang it. She basically, the song was just saying thank you and I love you. But her voice is so angelic. It's just out of this world. Her voice is just beautiful. I think if I had to choose out of the two, Erica has the way better voice. I mean, because she has more range. Tina's voice is strong and powerful. Erica's is too, but she's able to go powerful and then very light and fluffy. She could sing about dog food and you'll be like, oh, it's pretty. So she brings up the Grammys and the request to perform, and he was excited. Like, he said, oh, okay, baby, that's great. But she had to tell him that it was the day of her due date, and she is considering naturally inducing her labor. And he said, Erica. Finally, somebody with some sense, because there was a scene where Erica, Tina, and their executive assistant, Sharila, was looking on the internet trying to find out ways to induce her labor. So anyway, the husband was like, no way, you are not doing that. That is risking the life of you and our baby. And, you know, that is not going to go. You're not going to be able to commit to that. And Erica was like, but baby, it's ways that could be natural and da 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 da. And he was like, no. So like she said, he's my husband. He's the father of my baby. I do have to consider what he feels and how he thinks. So basically it's going to be a no-go. So in the end, Tina and her husband Teddy gather all the children up over dinner to tell them that they were expecting a baby. They had the oldest daughter, who is Teddy's daughter from a previous relationship, on speakerphone. She's like 17. And they told the kids that they were pregnant, and everyone was so excited. it was like a stress reliever for Tina, in my opinion. You know, it seemed like her telling the children was like a stamp of approval. Not that she wasn't doubting, like she wasn't going to have a baby, but it just seemed like it kind of uplifted some of the stress that was on her. In my opinion, that is. So it ended on a happy note. So again, that concludes season 1, episode 6. Please rate, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, bye bye.